Speedrunning is a test of skill, practice, and true dedication, pouring hundreds to thousands of hours into a single game in order to play it to perfection. It is very rewarding but also daunting. In order to be competitive, you must first decide on what game you want to play, and then you have to dedicate to nothing but that game. While this is acceptable for some, I want to take a different approach. Instead of speedrunning a single game, I have decided to test myself in a different way. What about speedrunning a console? Beating every single game that was ever released for a specific platform. Not only will this test my ability to play a game proficiently and quickly, but it will also require me to complete runs with as much efficiency as I can. I can't spend over 100 hours trying to shave off a couple seconds from a single game. With hundreds to thousands of games on a single console, I would never finish. I will have to play the game, understand the optimal runs, and complete it as close to that run as possible within the first 5 to 10 attempts. I don't expect to be breaking individual records or even getting close on extremely competitive games, but that won't stop me from trying to run them as quickly as I can. With this idea of speedrunning an entire console in mind, first I had to pick a console. Now my choice of console was not going to be chosen by my favoritism or randomly picked. In order to put myself to the test, I really had to give myself a fighting chance. Of all the major consoles ever released, only 7 of them seemed feasible. The number of games released for consoles such as the Super Nintendo or the PlayStation 1 are just too far out of reach. Beating 4,000 plus games to completion is out of my wheelhouse. So I set my eyes on anything with less than 1,000 games, excluding consoles that are still having titles released, such as the Xbox Series S and X or the PlayStation 5. And from these 7 consoles, I checked which games had at least 50 recorded speedrun attempts. And after doing that, I had 3 consoles to choose from: the NES, the Nintendo 64, and the GameCube. With the GameCube having the highest percentage of games with over 50 runs, as well as having a huge nostalgic influence, that's the console to beat. Not every GameCube game created has a speedrun attempt, but of the ones that do, I'll be keeping track of how my time differs from the current world record. And by assuming a rough estimate of about an hour per game that currently doesn't have a run, the best possible completion for the GameCube is somewhere around 800 hours. Obviously, I don't anticipate getting anywhere close to this number, but I'm going to keep it as a point of reference. In order to complete this monumental challenge, first I have to lay out some ground rules. The first rule is that I'm going to be using an emulator. The next rule is that if the game requires a special remote, I will try my best to make the experience as close to how it was intended. For games such as Donkey Konga or Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, I will be using the intended controllers. And the last rule is that to the best of my ability, any percent is the goal for all of these games. If the game does not have an any percent speed run, I will do the most popular run listed, and if the game does not have any runs yet submitted, I will try to make it an any percent run. So with these 3 rules in place and over 600 games ahead of me, starting with 1080 Avalanche and ending with Zoo Cube, I am going to be the first person ever to attempt to speed run the Nintendo GameCube.